Hi, it's Darlene coming to you from Brave Hearts again with another short little interview with a very special person here, Les Ginnish. And I'll tell you a tiny little bit about how Les and I got this going, and then I'm going to let him talk and do his little interview thing. So, Les and I have met a few times, and we both realized we had lost a child, and we didn't know that. So long story short, we got talking and I said to Les, I always wanted to start something for parents who lost children. And he helped me greatly trying to get this going. Him and I come up and brainstormed and did all kinds of things. And Les is a pretty special guy. So I'm gonna now, Les knows what I'm gonna ask him about Brave Hearts, how it has helped him. And I'm just gonna let him tell a little bit of his story. He's not gonna give away too much, because you gotta come and hear it.
Yes, I'm Les Ginnish. We often say here, we're a group of people. We don't want to be part of this group, but guess what? Life happens to us, and we're part of this group. And I lost Emma. I had a little girl. Her name was Emma. She was an apple of my eye. She walked like me. She did so many things like me. At 16 months old, she was backed over and killed in my driveway. And I often say 3 people were changed that night, December 12th, 1996. I changed instantly. My ex-wife, and she is my ex-wife for a reason. We grieve differently, and we our journey has been different and led us different ways. And we are divorced probably because of it. And the person who was driving the truck, his life has changed. It led me. I'll speak for myself. I don't like speaking for everybody else. And the way I healed is. It may not be the way that you begin to get some healing, but you may hear something in this room that helps you, and I know how much it helped me. Typically, I'm not going to say too much of the story, but I'll try to hit on some key points. We all had that the 2 to 3 weeks of where we're showered with attention, with support and stuff, and of course that disappears, and we're left on our own, and that was a case with me. I went to see some people and stuff to try to get some help, but I and my wife, we just couldn't find that support. It wasn't from doctors, we couldn't get it, and it wasn't that we didn't reach out. We just didn't get what we needed from the other side, and we end up suffering on our own. And I've heard the saying, and I'll use it here, I suffered on my own, and that's key here. And when we first started this group and we got together, we could start understanding that no one understood us any more than another person who has lost a child. And we went down a road in our journey, and without Brave Hearts, without establishing that connection with other people who actually understood what we were going through, and understood, and with no judgment, right? There's no time limit on where we are today. I call it, Darlene has heard me before, we call it about recovery and stuff like that. I call it slow recovery. Everybody has a different pace, and it's taken me a long time, but we are here now. We are recovering, and like I said earlier, I suffered, but we recover as a group. And I can't say enough about hearing from other people whose journey is different than mine, but I can take bits and pieces of it, and I can help that in my recovery, and that's exactly what has happened for me.
That's beautiful. Les, it's kind of like, I know we talked about this one time during our 2-day event, and it's kind of like when we get together, we dilute the pain, so it's not so concentrated. And so when we're together, it's not, we seem to be lighter. Would you agree to that?
I would totally agree with that, Darlene. When I was trying to do it on my own, I just couldn't get nowhere. I couldn't get out of my head, and you know, it sent me to deep and dark places. But getting in here and being able to share our stories, and no one's running away from us. They're running towards us, and we're offering each other support. It's absolutely amazing. You don't even have to say anything. After a little while in this room, you'll realize the positive energy that begins to emerge in this room, and it's shared amongst everybody. In that feeling, as you say it takes a load off you. I call it, you know, lightening my knapsack. I was throwing all that stuff in my knapsack, and it became too hard to carry.
That's right.
And once it starts lightening up, you realize, you know, we've heard this in the rooms here too. You know, we think that tunnel is so dark we don't see the light at the end of it, but after you're in here for a bit and sharing it with other people, and of course when you leave here and you start surrounding yourself with positive people who understand you, you do see that light at the end of the tunnel. There is a life after you lost a child. And you know, I used to, you know, I used to say, well, this is the way my life is going to be. I'm going to suffer for the rest of my life, and that is not the case with me anymore, Darlene.
Thank you. Do you think that Brave Hearts might have helped you a little bit there?
I would say not a little bit. I would say a lot. I would push it a little bit further. You know, each and every person that walks through that door, and you know, we shake hands, and we hug each other, we share each other's pain, and that's something that you'll hear in here. You know, sadly for me, I had to feel the pain to heal the pain. I couldn't block it anymore. It happened. I have to deal with it. I can't put it aside. I often say this, Darlene, I don't want anybody ever to go through what I went through that night. My heart broke, and sadly, that piece of my heart is gone. I can't get that back, but I'm able to get through it now, and I'm able to, I count my blessings now. I try to put the pain aside, and I count my blessings. I think about the good times I had with my little girl, Emma. I don't think about the tragic ending of her life.
That's what we ultimately have to get through. We have to remember the good times, and I think we get a chance to do that here, would you say? Because we're allowed to speak, and nobody, like, it's not an easy topic for somebody who hasn't lost a child to speak to somebody who hasn't lost a child, because they can't comprehend it. So that's why it's so important to come out, and I promise you, you're gonna feel better. You may have to, you know, you may have to go through the pain a little bit more, but you're not gonna do it alone, and that's the thing. And the more you go through, like we say it all the time, you gotta feel in order to heal. And that's what we do, but we do it together.
You're absolutely right, Darlene.
Is there anything else you wanna add?
A person could not quite understand it until you actually came in here. And it is so hard. It is hard.
It is.
Walking in here that first time. But I guarantee you, when you leave here, like Darlene said, you'll end up lighter, you'll feel better. You know, you might experience a few things, a few feelings that you never experienced before, but you know what, when you're able to get through them and stuff and realize some of these things are being lifted off you, you do feel better. And sometimes it's a long path. Like I wish that my path, it didn't take me that long before I actually started healing it. You know, that has happened. You know, it happened in '96. I never started healing till 3 years ago, basically. And the burden that's lifted off of me, and to understand that my other kids were suffering because of it.
Oh, yes.
You know, I lost Emma, but then my kids, my family, they lost me for a long time. And now I'm coming back. I feel better. I try to I try to give them that positive feeling you know, I feel like life is beginning for me again, instead of being my legacy is poor Les, poor pitiful Les. It's not that no more.
I know, and we love you so much, Les. And I do believe that I wish I had had this 18 years ago and you 26 years ago, because I promise you, you will expedite the healing. I believe, because I believe that with this group, and you're amongst us, that's what's going to happen if you give it a chance. So hope to see you next weekend now. It's the 25th and 26th of May. Get a hold of myself or Les or anyone that's on the board. Anyone basically that did the talks, and we'll help you through that. We'll help you get here. And that's it. Thank you so much. Let's have a really good long weekend, everybody.
Thank you, Darlene.